We're not going to go too hard on him today because, of course, he's recovering from surgery.
We've got some breaking news here. Welcome back to Moose and Loose. My name's David. Today we've got Mark Carney halting. He's putting a pause on the EV mandate. One policy after another, he is flip-flopping on them. He's abandoning these liberal policies that he was a big part of pushing these through with Justin Trudeau. The Conservatives have been hammering the Liberals hard on this stuff, and we're seeing some changes here. We also have some footage now of David Eby backing Pierre Poilievre. I was looking for it in the previous video. We've got that now, backing him on the temporary foreign worker program and scrapping it. We also have Pierre Poilievre during a private event humiliating Mark Carney. Let's jump into this. Starting this one off, Charest Tees, we got some new polling data. This is coming from Main Street Poll. Liberals 42.3%, Conservatives 40.4%. You see here a drop of 4.6% for the Liberals, Conservatives up 2.2%. I believe this is probably accurate because a lot of people kind of wishy-washy with how they're feeling right now. Mark Carney, elbows up, elbows down. Where's his elbows? We don't know. No deal with Trump. At this point, I would have hoped that this number would have dropped a lot by now, but a lot of Canadians are easily fooled by what Mark Carney says in the media versus what he actually does. You see the NDP also clawing back 2.3% of their support. Got this one here. Canada imports more vehicles from Mexico than the US for the month of June for the first time in 30 years. So looking in the comments, everyone thinks of street candy loaded in the door panels and everything else. We're not getting into that, but moving ahead from the Globe and Mail, we've got two former Liberal cabinet ministers in line for top diplomatic posts, sources say. So we've got Jonathan Wilkinson and Bill Blair. So this article doesn't say much. They're basically just being considered for ambassadors. It does say here, former Natural Resources Minister Jonathan Wilkinson is being considered for a European ambassadorship, likely Germany or Belgium. So once again here, this is the same as we always see. Liberals taking care of their own. Got this one from Blacklock's reporter. 2 billion trees program, 89% short. That's right. Got Catherine McKenna here, the former environment minister. It says here under her tenure, 2019, at a cost of $267.7 million. And what have they planted? To date, over 228 million trees have been planted, representing important progress, but it fell 89% short. Moving ahead, talking about the EV mandate. So Andrew Scheer came out with this just a couple of days ago, and then you're going to see Mark Carney has put a full-blown pause on the EV mandate.
And this brings me back to the credit system.
The new electric vehicle availability standard now includes an early credit system to help automakers comply by encouraging them to get more EVs on the market as early as possible and even next year, and to build more charging infrastructure.
So a traditional manufacturer has to sell 20% of their vehicles as EVs, but the market simply doesn't want them. Let's say they only sell 10% of their sales as EVs. They have to go out and buy those credits from a company that's sold more than 20%.
And right now it's 8% of sales are EVs, so it's not even 10%.
Oh, let's look at Tesla. 100% of the cars that they sell are electric. So that means in the first year, 80% of the cars they sell will generate extra money for Tesla because they can then sell these credits to traditional car companies. These credits aren't cheap because the government penalties for not making the sales or buying the credits is $20,000 per vehicle. So what do you think these credits are going to be worth? If the government's going to fine you $20,000 for not having the piece of paper, that's what the credits are going to be worth. Your new car sale will be subsidizing Elon Musk's Tesla at 20 grand a pop, right out of your pocket. Trust me, you are not mad enough about this.
With this EV credit system put in place, one must ask, considering Mark Carney's relationship here with Elon Musk, going back to Brookfield Asset Management, Mark Carney, vice chair of ESG, then chair of the company, doing this deal with Brookfield, $250 million with Twitter, Elon Musk, as well as with Tesla back in 2021, Brookfield to create Solar Neighborhood with Tesla, approximately $80 to $100 million deal, as well as this one here with the Boring Company, Series C funding, $675 million. We've got it right here. We're also happy to share the group leading the real estate partners of strategic importance are also joining the round, including Brookfield. Was there something going on here back in the day with Elon and Mark Carney? And I said this before and I say it again. I like Elon Musk. I like what he's doing, his mission in life, building rocket ships, SpaceX, Starlink, all of it. But one must ask, these guys know each other. Was there a plan here that they both can make some money off of this? Well, jumping to today, what do we've got? We've got a Bloomberg page here that wants to keep blocking, but you can see here, Canada to stall electric vehicle rules as Carney seeks to boost auto sector. Looking at the article here, Canada is delaying a plan to force automakers to hit minimum sales levels for electric vehicles by 2026, a concession to manufacturers in a sector that has been upended by tariffs. Prime Minister Mark Carney's government will make the announcement Friday as one of the series of measures to help companies in the industries most affected by U.S. President Donald Trump's trade war, according to people familiar with the matter, speaking on condition they are not identified. So take it for what it is. Apparently this is coming out verified by people who don't want to talk about it, but this is coming out on Friday. So today, Carney's predecessor Justin Trudeau had passed rules that required automakers to have at least 20% of sales of zero emissions vehicles by the model year 2026, but the government won't implement that target now. Instead, they will launch a review of the so-called electric vehicle availability standard to make sure it doesn't create burdens on automakers, the people said. So you've got all these people, it even mentions one of them down here, a bunch of them, Brian Kingston. So this guy, Chief Executive Officer of the Canadian Vehicle Manufacturers Association, he's been very vocal about this, just blasting the Liberals over and over, as polite as he can be, that this is going to ruin the auto sector in Canada. Carney knows that this is going to destroy his chances at get re-elected. So here he is, flip-flopping on another Liberal policy. Goes on to say that the auto industry has been lobbying for months to change the EV mandate, arguing that the targets were unrealistic and would add costs and put jobs at risk. In June, 8% of new vehicles sold in Canada were zero emissions. So just as I said earlier, 8%, and they want 20% by next year. These targets are made up by the government, not based on any sound assessment of real market dynamics, Kingston said. Under the electric vehicles mandate, manufacturers failed to meet the sales targets, would have been forced to restrict sales of internal combustion engine vehicles or buy credits from companies like Tesla, Kingston said. Or from Brookfield. Next up, we've got David Eby backing Pierre Poilievre. So I brought this up in the previous video. Now we've got video footage of this here. Table Salt digging this one up.
Do you mean by that? Are we talking about a severe restriction of numbers? Are we talking about a complete shutdown of the program? Can you be more specific?
So he's talking about temporary foreign workers program here.
As to your exact ask for the federal government. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, as we face these economic headwinds, there should be one priority for government. It is making sure that Canadians are protected and looked after, and in particular, that young people have a strong economic future in our country. The temporary foreign worker program is not working. It should be canceled or significantly reformed. Here in Surrey, we see the sale of temporary labor market assessments, temporary foreign worker labor market assessments. Here in British Columbia, we see unacceptably high level of unemployment among young people, which has been linked both to the international student visa program as well as the temporary foreign worker program. It's time for a serious and adult conversation about addressing these immigration issues in our province and in the country. We can't have an immigration system that fills up our homeless shelters and our food banks. We can't have an immigration system that outpaces our ability to build schools and housing. And we can't have an immigration program that results in high youth unemployment. So the Prime Minister has taken some good steps, I think, to rein this in, but there's a lot more to do. And so British Columbia is happy to convene a table of provinces to be able to have, that are interested in this issue, to have a conversation with the federal government about how we can improve the immigration system and be responsive to the threats we face and the challenges we're facing here at home.
Interesting, Eby's pushing back against this. He knows his political future hinges on this topic because, well, as you can see, all the students here, they all need jobs. All of them likely not be able to get jobs in our current state of Canada right now. So interesting, he's essentially backing what Pierre's come out with, not even tiptoeing around it, saying that it's got to go, the program's got to go. And that's the truth. The program does have to go. David Eby announcing this out of a place of desperation. As Table Salt pointing out here, this is notable that this is the strongest language of any politician in Canada on this topic. He literally called out the Lima fraud. Aside from Pierre Poilievre, who's blasted it and said it's got to go. But I mean, what is Mark Carney going to do? He can't even, when he's got leftist David Eby pushing back against this program, how does he continue forward with it? I mean, there's so many people in British Columbia here, especially leftist voters who flip-flop between NDP and Liberal. This puts Carney in a very tough position. This is like two worlds colliding, but oddly in a good way. Eby must have received his marching orders. Strange development, but let's take it. Yeah, we'll take it. Next up, we've got Pierre Poilievre here at a private event, giving a speech about the future of Canada. He takes a moment here to just absolutely blast Mark Carney. This is hilarious.
For the benefit of our people in this country. Those will be our priorities in the fall. And we are the only ones who will be able to get it done. Now look across the aisle at the results of Mark Carney. 5 months have gone by. And what is it? We're not going to go too hard on him today because, of course, He's recovering from surgery after having his elbows amputated. And he's a little bit confused. He's a genius banker who doesn't know how to introduce a budget. But incredibly, he's managed, without even introducing a budget, to double the deficit that Justin Trudeau left behind. So we've gone from the budget will balance itself to no budget at all. He's done nothing on crime, and everything is as bad as today. He's not been able to get a single tablespoon of dirt moved on a new project anywhere in Canada. But this means that we're gonna have an opening to hold him to account and make the case for a better future for our people. And we're going to do that. We're going to put forward solid ideas, clear plans to cut back on bureaucracy, consultants, foreign aid, handouts to undeserving corporate insiders, and freebies for fraudulent refugees. We're going to use that, cut back on all of that so that we can bring down inflation, taxes, and debt. We're going to secure our streets.
So I should note this was filmed, I believe, 2 days ago. I'm guessing today Mark Carney is also going to announce that $15 billion LNG project, the one that he could potentially be making a lot of money off of because he owns a lot of companies that build LNG facilities.
How do we do it? We are going to be putting forward these ideas in private members' bill. Let me give you an example. Arpan will be bringing forward a private members' bill to totally overhaul the bail system to make sure that those who commit crimes in our streets are locked away.
On that, let's look at some crime here today, because it's every day we're getting these crazy stories. Like this one, Larry Brock posting this just 14 hours ago. It says an 80-year-old woman was left with life-threatening injuries after a very bad pow-pow downtown Guelph. Man charged with attempted trying to end her. But according to Minister Fraser, Canada is not the Wild West, but our seniors who are being targeted in broad daylight on our streets don't believe that. Canadians deserve a justice system that protects us. Yeah, we're talking 80-year-old woman gets attacked by a random guy on the street in Guelph. Something else we're seeing regarding crime, the street fentanyl, cartels, all that kind of stuff. America is now going to be putting some of their units up on the American northern border to try to block the stuff coming from Canada.
We are now expanding Joint Task Force Alpha. It has 5 steps. We will now cover, the task force will now cover our northern border in Canada, of course, and all of our maritime borders. Our incredible partner again at DHS, Christy Nome, and I are expanding this to include our DEA, ATF, and FBI agents to this task force to give us even more manpower. We will receive more resources to prosecute these cases, and key figures in cartel, human trafficking, and transnational criminals. We are now expanding.
So America taking this pretty serious, not just talking points anymore. Crack down on Canada because Canada can't do it themselves. At this point, the Liberals don't want to solve this problem. So either we elect a new government or America comes and saves us with that. We've got a couple here saying how much they love Americans, that they fly their flags proudly. In the UK, people are getting punished and forced to take them down.
How is it not okay to fly your own flag in your own country and be proud? Americans, we don't know if you have seen, but right now, in the UK, something magical is happening.
We are putting flags up everywhere. We just drove back from Ireland, and everywhere, bridges, sign, lamppost, everywhere has the Union Jack flying, the English flag, the Welsh flag. Very cool to see.
We are taking note from our American brothers and sisters. We are flying the flag, the British flag, high and proud. And it's amazing because that's one thing that we love about America.
Yeah.
Is how you guys are so proud and you are so patriotic and you have the American flag flying everywhere, huge flags. We don't have any huge flags like that over in the UK.
Oh yeah, no, but it gives us goosebumps when we see these US flags.
But there is something going on with that. The media is somehow twisting it and selling it in a negative light, using the R word, if you know what I mean.
And these flags are being taken down.
They're taking flags down.
Because people are too sensitive and can't handle it.
How is it not okay to fly your own flag in your own country and be proud? How is that an issue in any way? We want to know your thoughts on that, Americans. Do you think that is absolutely absurd, not being able to fly your own flag in your own country and being proud? I know how bloody proud you guys are. So I know it's going to annoy you as much as it annoys us.
Yes, let us know.
There's a global agenda here that's being rolled out, and it's very obvious. Now, the question is, who's behind it? All these liberal governments are enacting it. Keir Starmer, Justin Trudeau, Mark Carney, Joe Biden. We're seeing the UK, we're seeing it in France, we're seeing it everywhere. What do we have here? Chrystia Freeland back in the news. She held a press conference talking about using Canadian steel and aluminum with railroads and ships, except they just gave away $1 billion contract to China where Chinese steel will be used in building a ship for Canada, but she didn't talk about that.
As a country, we need to very, very quickly get really, really good at using the steel and aluminum that we're so good at producing across our entire economy.
Is she just filling the space here with random words and blanket empty sentences? We need to get really good at using Canadian steel in our own industries very, very quickly. Sounds like a recipe for more massive fraud and corruption with liberal friends and family pocketing billions of taxpayer dollars with little to nothing to show for it. Yeah, okay, that sums it up.